Millions of years before the first humans walked the Earth, tectonic plates ground together and pushed upward, slowly forging the jagged, rocky spine of the continents. Looking at a modern map, it is easy to assume that we built our megacities, laid our highways, and drew our borders wherever we pleased through pure willpower. But overlay a map of global population density onto a physical map of the Earth, and you will see a perfect match. Where people live, what they eat, and how they survive are almost entirely dependent on the physical ground beneath them. These natural physical features of the Earth's surface are called landforms. They act as the primary variables that dictate local climates, the plants and animals that survive, and the occupations available to humans. To understand how these environments dictate human behavior, we are going to climb from the flat bottom of the world up to the highest peaks, observing how changing elevation rewrites the rules of survival. Landforms define the practical limits of human expansion, shaping the civilizations that rise within them. We begin at the lowest rung of the elevation ladder, the plains. These are large, flat, or gently sloping stretches of land that typically sit below 300 meters above sea level. As rivers flow down from higher elevations, they sweep sand, silt, and small rocks, sediments, along with them, spreading evenly across a wide basin. Over centuries, this deposition builds deep layers of rich soil, turning barren flats into highly fertile floodplains. For human beings, this flat terrain provides the lowest possible friction for expansion. It is easy to pave roads, lay down rail lines, and cultivate massive tracts of farmland. Look at the densely packed structures along the Ganga plain. The ease of access to both water and level ground supports extreme population density, turning these rivers into centers of both heavy trade and deep religious significance. Because they offer the path of least resistance, plains function as the primary breadbaskets and population centers of the planet. Moving up the elevation gradient, we reach the plateaus. A plateau is a landform raised high above the surrounding area, but unlike a jagged peak, it features a distinctly flat top. This sudden increase in elevation introduces new friction. The soil here becomes rocky and thin, making it far less fertile than the sprawling plains below. But what plateaus lack in agricultural potential, they make up for below ground. These massive stone blocks are the Earth's primary storehouses for heavy mineral wealth. This specific geography forces societies to adapt their labor. Instead of plowing fields, populations living on landforms like the Chotanagpur Plateau dig open-pit mines to extract coal, iron, gold, and diamonds. This raised, step-like shape also creates natural spectacles, with major river systems plummeting off the steep edges to form vertical waterfalls. By forcing humanity to trade the plow for the pickaxe, plateaus act as the raw resource engines for global industry. Pushing higher, we arrive at the mountains. Characterized by their broad bases, steep vertical slopes, and narrow summits, these landforms represent the most extreme altitudes on Earth. Geologists classify them largely by age. Young mountains, like the Himalayas, are actively rising. They feature sharp, snow-covered peaks and extreme, sheer drop-offs. Compare that to older formations, like the Aravalli Range. Millions of years of constant erosion and weathering have ground away the sharp rock, leaving lower, rolling, green summits. Life at this extreme altitude is defined by high friction, freezing temperatures, blocked transport routes, and constant threats like avalanches. Survival requires specialized biology, like the thick coats of yaks, and relies heavily on animal herding over mass agriculture. To grow food on these sheer slopes, humans engineered a workaround called terrace farming. By cutting geometric steps directly into the mountain, they create small, flat surfaces to hold soil and water in place. A similar high-friction environment exists at lower elevations in deserts. With almost zero rainfall and sparse vegetation, the harsh climate restricts mass urban growth, forcing human and animal populations to develop specialized methods for conserving water and navigating the dry dunes. Extreme landforms naturally restrict massive populations, but they forge deeply resilient human cultures, built entirely on localized adaptation. To categorize how the Earth's surface dictates human behavior, you can look at the planet as a system of three distinct shapes: M, P, and P. High mountains, mineral plateaus, and fertile plains. The precise arrangement of these three shapes on a map dictates whether a local society will spend its time building flat-roofed homes, worshipping river confluences, or drilling deep into the rocky bedrock. The physical shape of the Earth established the conditions for human life long before we drew our first borders.